On today's episode of Owl's Eye, we take a closer look at how Southern demonstrates diversity, equity, and inclusion. We'll hear about some of the club students can join to engage with different cultures. And later, we will speak with graduate intern GM Melendez about the Multicultural Center and its active roles in supporting DEI initiatives on campus. All this and more on Owl's Eye. Welcome to Owl's Eye. I'm your host, Corey Hall. Today's episode focuses on diversity, equity, and inclusion at SCSU and highlights Southern's efforts to be a campus that's considerate of everyone who attends. Southern is home to multicultural clubs on campus. Some of them include Sisters, organizations of Latin American students, Bros, the Muslim Students Association, Asian Culture Society, and many more. With over 100 clubs and organizations on campus, Southern makes it easy to find a community that aligns with your interests and passion. No matter what you're into, there's a place for you to get involved.
I like how diverse they are. With the clubs in the MCC, there's so many different ones, and the fact that you're able to just go in and create your own as long as you have an advisor and stuff. I think that's the very cool part about having a club in the MCC.
We give our students, by creating these multicultural clubs, it allows for students to connect and have a space to just be themselves and kind of a home away from home because you're with your own people.
One of Southern's newest owls, VP of Financial Administration, Lillian Wanjagi, embraced the institution's commitment to social justice and discussed Southern's long-term plan to remain sustainable for all students.
Our mission here at Southern is access. So for us to be able to serve that mission that is inclusive of students from all economic backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, we need to be here in the long term.
When asked about diversification, inclusion, and opportunity at SCSU, Wanjagi expressed her excitement and connection to current students.
Our world is beautifully different culturally, ethnically, and so I do enjoy getting to learn about other people. I love being able to come to work every day and knowing that part of what I do is a small contribution to making education available to other students who are much like myself many years ago.
Southern offers a variety of food options for residential and commuting students. While some students are fine with the options, others need accommodations based on their diet.
I think the first thing they can do to accommodate for us is to simply just ask around, what are your dietary restrictions? Maybe do a survey or something, send it through the email, and then just see what the students can and cannot eat.
The Adante Student Center has 4 primary and distinct food locations: The Grill, Peking Plate, Tres Habaneros, and Sub Connection. If you have a specific dietary restriction, please contact Food Services at 203-392-6990. At Southern, creativity isn't just about self-expression. It can also be used as a tool to explore biases. Dr. Casey Counselor is a comic illustrator and professor who uses his art to explore social and personal stories. He encourages his students to do the same. As he spoke with Dr. Counselor, he spoke about an art exercise that shows how biases grow unconsciously.
All of our students draw a picture of a homeless man, or homeless person, sorry. Everyone drew a man. Everyone drew a man in his 50s, outside, in a jacket, in an urban setting. So without speaking, it's all of a sudden we have 30 people in a room. How do we all have the same image of homelessness?
Dr. Counselor goes on to say that the shared image is not a coincidence. Our world shapes this picture in our minds. Even though we are all from different walks of life, we still imagine the same things. Historian Dr. Shoban Carter-David believes that when learning about history, it is important to acknowledge important figures and events that often get overlooked when taught.
Because I teach mostly United States history, it is important for my students to understand the various ways that everyone has contributed to the construction of this nation, obviously in various degrees over time, but I think sometimes there's a narrative that excludes many of the folks who contributed to what the United States has become.
If you are interested in hearing more about the historians here, the History Department is located at Engelman Hall, C205A. Coming up after the break, Graduate intern Gian Melendez will be in the studio to discuss how access to an inclusive campus allowed him to flourish as a student. Owl's Eye will be right back.
Welcome back to Owl's Eye, where we keep our eye on people who represent different voices around Southern's campus. I'm Warwick Kelman, and today we'll be discussing the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion while going to college. We will be joined today by Gian Melendez, who is a graduate intern at Southern's Multicultural Center. He is currently pursuing a master's degree in counseling education and also has a bachelor's degree in theater. Thank you for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
And I guess my first question for you would be, how has the Multicultural Center been a safe space for students of different backgrounds?
So a little background about the Multicultural Center, bro. Actually, the Multicultural Center used to be like a little tiny room type of thing down the hall on the second floor of the student center. And students were complaining about it, saying that they feel like, there should be a bigger space for students of color, and then now we finally have it. I was telling you earlier how we have it as soon as you come up the student center staircase on the second floor. Now we have this really beautiful room with nice furniture and paintings and art. And it's a blessing, bro, to be a part of it. Especially me now it's my second semester being an intern, and the center's now only 3 years old, so it's pretty much still new. We're still trying to figure stuff out, but I think it's dope. I think it's a blessing. I think it should be. I love the location of it, how exposed it is, and how beautiful it looks. And I think it's dope. And I've been able to just immerse myself in this a position, be myself, and just be there for the students. So I think Southern's doing a good job with this specifically, and I think more students should know about it because it's for everybody. So.
And what have you accomplished as a graduate intern so far, and what are your long-term goals and aspirations while working at Southern?
What I've accomplished so far, I was a little nervous coming into this because, again, like I was saying earlier, the MCC already has some sort of history before. They had, history and they were used to how things were before, and then my position actually made a big switch. Us now being under DEI, it's the first year that this is actually a thing now. And, us being under DEI, what does that mean? It's kind of like our kind of focus kind of switches a little bit more now, and our intention now is a little more academically focused compared to like program focused. So I've been accomplished so far, or what I think I've accomplished so far is just, again, I said it, but being able to go into work every day, being my authentic self, and not faking it to the students, because I feel like they don't deserve that, I don't deserve that, and how can I get to know them on a personal level, and how can they know me on a personal level, but also keep it professional, but in a way where they can come to me with anything that they need. So I think that's something that I've been doing good so far, and a goal of mine is just to, how can I see even more students in this, because we tend to have like a lot of regulars, which is good, but then now I've been seeing kind of like a frequency of like new students coming in. So what can I do, whether it's programming or conversations or things that I can do to just involve more students in there, especially first year students, because I think it's a dope space for them, but that's what I'm working on.
And also, how important is it for someone that in this position to take the steps to get to where you had the opportunity?
Wait, say that again?
How important was it for somebody that wants to be in the position that you're in to take advantage of the opportunity?
I mean, dude, I told you, I'm grateful, I'm blessed to be in this. I'm a first generation student from Puerto Rico, I'm Latino. So, really when I feel like when people like myself, get an opportunity like this, I think you should stand on it. You should be proud of it, because a lot of people, don't get the opportunity that look like me or have been through things like I've been through that get this opportunity. So, man, I'm just here, bro. I'm grateful, I'm blessed, and I want to be a pillar, and I want to be an example and a leader to students, and just a somebody, I had that somebody growing up, so that's kind of like what I want to be, is that somebody to a student or to anybody, really. But I'm proud to say that where I came from, and I'm very proud that I get to have this light shed on me to kind of be a representative for all these other misrepresented communities and people. So,
And Do you think there are any improvements that could be done to diversify Southern even more?
I mean, yeah, it's we're a striving social justice university. Striving means that we're not perfect. Nothing could be perfect. But I think little things like we've been doing, even again, more, things that are more academic focused, not saying that doing programming is a bad thing, but I think, before it was kind of overwhelming of how much programs we were doing. But again, we can also do a lot of programs, but how can we kind of like simmer it down a little bit, but then with us not having a bunch of, or the ability to host a bunch of programs now, how can we take this X amount of programs and then execute them as best as we can and just make it academic at the same time, and, but then also make it human, make it real. Like we just had this cool like self-care program thing where it's like how to take care of yourself, self-care, and you'd be surprised because students didn't know these things, and that's fine, but that's what we're here for. So I think Southern has been doing a good job, but I think we're just, we're not perfect. So we're just trying to, hear what the students are saying and do things, see what we could do better, and then execute that the next time. So.
And how important is it for some people to join safe spaces like the Multicultural Center, when they first get here compared to maybe starting off before they leave?
It's dope. Coming to college, it's all about connections. That's how I really became where I am now, is being involved. I know it's cliche to say that, but I think it's very important, especially if they could get their foot in that door in the MCC very, very early on. You're exposed to a bunch of different students from, different backgrounds, different grades, they're in different clubs. So then even, a simple conversation could get you into it, interested in a club. You join a club, now you met friends, you meet connections, whether it's you want to just come say hello to me or you have a question about me or just have a question about life that maybe I could give you some sort of gem or something that you could take when you leave that, so I'm saying, so I think it's very beneficial because rest assured that when you do leave, or do enter this space, whether it's just you want to do homework or something, you'll meet somebody or somebody will come up to you or, you'll leave with something. So I think it's very, very, very important, and I feel like they shouldn't kind of, and not just MCC, but they should just be, out there and trying to try different things and not wait till it's last minute. Cause that's kind of what I did. I was going to class and going home and I was like, wait, this doesn't feel real. This doesn't feel like me. It feels very like almost like robotic almost. Like I'm going to class and I'm coming home. So how, that experience started to change for me when I started immersing myself in different type of groups and centers and stuff like that. So I think it's very important.
Thank you, Gian, for joining us today and teaching us more about the Multicultural Center.
Thank you for having me, bro.
And that's all for this week's episode of Owl's Eye. Join us again next week so you can know what to keep your eye on here at Southern.